fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are men on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a proportion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a large sense we cannot consecrate, we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us living rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people by the people for the people shall not perish from the earth.
Right. Thank you, sir. So everybody, I noticed that Abraham Lincoln says we a lot. Who is we?
The
Nation.
Nation.
Everyone in the
Good.
nation.
We the people.
Awesome. And then he says that nation, and he says that a few times. Which nation is he talking about?
This nation.
Under
All
God.
nations.
All.
You should just say all.
He
It's
says-
the thing, all nations.
Testing whether that
Our
nation.
nation. He's saying it in a different view.
And what is our nation?
Any nation. He's saying any nation right now.
The United States.
That's what you
Okay.
said.
Sorry, I heard voices over there. Alright, thank you, Maximus. So, we know that he's talking to the people of the United States, right? And what is going on with the people of the United States at this point in time?
They're not being united.
They're not
Yeah.
even dedicated.
Civil War.
Killing each other, why?
Because they have different thoughts.
What do you mean, no, all different thoughts?
They have different beliefs. And
What are their beliefs?
that
The
people
religion.
should be
That we are
slaves.
equal.
People shouldn't be slaves.
Sort of, right? Some people want to succeed. The South wants to secede from the United States because of taxes, because of slavery, because of a lot of different reasons that you will go over in your U.S. history class, or you should have already learned already, right? And the Union doesn't want that. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. That's why I gave you background information. Keep that in mind when you're reading this, because it's going to help you know what his purpose is. But before we get to Abraham Lincoln's purpose, let's kind of pull this apart and see what you found. Now, the first line of this text starts with a time period that most of you might not have seen before, 407 years ago. Now, if you didn't know how long ago that was, what should you have done?
Look it up.
Okay,
Oh.
James, go ahead.
87 years.
And how long is the score?
20 years.
Okay, good. So 87 years ago. Now, I don't have the date on here. I'm aware of that. I didn't give it to you because I wanted you to use context clues. Now, you might not have known when this was. You do kind of know when the Civil War was. But it says, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. So, who do you think he's talking about?
Founding fathers.
Us.
Our who?
Founding fathers.
Good, exactly. So what happened when we got this nation? What document did we have to sign?
The Declaration of Independence.
Good. So Abraham Lincoln is referring to the,
Declaration of Independence.
okay, and when you are referring to an event or a time period or a story or a person, what is that called?
Allusion.
Okay, good. It's called an illusion. Now, that's not enough though. Why is he referring to the Declaration of Independence?
Because we came together You get a
Because that's stating that we're no
Alright, one at a
longer
time, one
parts
at a
of
time.
the.
So Troy and then Justin, you can elaborate too. Go ahead.
He refers to the Declaration of Independence because we came together to fight against England, and now we're fighting against each other.
Okay, good. So Troy made the point of like now we're fighting against each other when we just got through with another war where we were trying to gain independence from England. Now look, we're fighting again. Justin, did you want to elaborate?
Oh, that's what I was mentioning.
Oh, that's what you were gonna say? Okay. Why is it important to remind people of this at this point in time?
Because you gotta know where you're from to know where you're going.
Say it louder, Justin.
Because you gotta know where you're from to know where you're going.
Good. Okay. I like that. Thank you. All right. So that's something that you should have gotten right off the bat. He's referring to the Declaration of Independence, right? Now I'm actually going to skip down to the bottom. We can get everything in between in a second. The very last line, he says, "And that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." First and foremost, you already know that's what.
Part of the Declaration.
That's already what. Of the people, by the people, for the people.
Repetition.
It's repeating.
Obviously, by and for.
I see the word people 3
Onomatopoeia.
times, so that's what?
What's in?
Thank you. It's repetition.
What's in?
Okay, we did. We did do it for a vowel ring, that's why.
Miss, what's in? Oh, I see it.
Okay, so the very last line. We're on the very last line, guys. Very last line of the speech. So as you guys just told me, this is an example of repetition. People is being repeated 3 times. What do you think he's trying to emphasize? Us. Why us?
Because we're the nation.
The nation. And we're at the moment we're doing what?
Fighting ourselves.
But should we be fighting ourselves?
The freedom.
We should be
Not
fighting
freedom,
the
we are
people that
free.
against us.
We what? What was that? We should be what? What'd you
Oh,
say?
we should be fighting the people that are against us, not ourselves.
Yeah, but we were against each other.
I can still ourselves.
Okay.
This is still our nation. So
Well, we don't want to be fighting each other, right? Okay.
we shouldn't be fighting
Now,
our brothers.
So that's one example of repetition. We should have got that down. But there's more to this example than that. Does this sound familiar?
Dedication.
Of the people?
We the people.
Where does that come from, Noel?
Right there.
Declaration of Independence.
No, but you're close.
Oh, the bill of
Bill of
rights.
Rights.
The Bill of Rights is part of what document?
The
Constitution.
Okay,
Constitution.
good. So, now you know he's alluding to the
Bill of Rights.
Constitution. So, see what he did there? In the beginning, he alluded to the Declaration of Independence. At the end, he alluded to the Constitution. All to remind us of what?
Freedom.
Our nation.
We are a
Whole.
nation. We are a nation. We are the United States.
Should be united.
We are one. Can you just hop, skip, and jump out?
No.
No. All right. So let's look at the meat of it now that we got the two pieces on the end. Before I point out anything, did anyone find any other examples?
Example one.
Hmm?
Example.
Any examples of ethos, pathos, logos, illusion, repetition,
Oh, yeah.
position? Yes, sir.
Repetition. It says dedicated like in every other sentence.
Okay, good. That is good. Did anyone else notice that? Does anyone want to take a guess why dedicated is being repeated?
Sure.
Axel, why do you think dedicated is being repeated?
You should be
worthy.
You want to, you have to want to do this for your country, so you can, have balance, I guess.
Have balance. You should want to do this for your country. For balance, anything else?
Unity.
Okay. Anybody want to add to that?
We were so dedicated to fighting for our independence. Now we're dedicated to fighting each other.
That's what you said. So it's like being focused on
right? And then he mentions other stuff though. So we're being dedicated to a lot here, not just our country. Let's go to, where did it go? Sorry, I lost it. He says in line 6, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hollow this ground, sorry. Dedicate is also in this line. And he makes a point after that in line 7, the brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated, far above our poor power to add or detract. So, who has dedicated their lives to this movement?
Soldiers.
And what has happened to these soldiers?
God.
Some dead and some